Hey, welcome back. We got a knife here, and one that I have not checked out before. I've only checked out one other knife from this maker, Les George. And I am very excited to check this one out because I'm a big fan of a really nice button lock, and this is the Les George, I think it's called the VECP or something like that, button lock. Ugh! I can't remember, I can never remember what the acronym stands for, but hopefully it's written on here on my paperwork. Sorry, let me get it out of here. Yeah, VECP. I want to say it's like everyday something, pocket knife, I don't know. But there it is. And this was dropped on a couple different websites. USA Made Blade is where I snagged it, but it also got dropped on DLT on both websites. It sold out in less than a minute. So I felt very lucky to have snagged one. Wow, that is way bigger than I expected it to be. I thought this thing was much smaller. Cool. I like that little USA Made Blade, guys. Is this glow in the dark or something? Well, gotta probably charge it first to find out. Little USA Made Blade cloth there. I like it, I like it. Comes with a patch. Let's get into it. First and foremost, very nicely centered. This thing just feels like it's gonna work really well. And it does. That was quite nice. Feel in hand is quite nice. Does have some little hairs on there, which is kind of weird. Let's use this guy to go ahead and remove some of that. Probably because the blade has something on there, and check that out. You know, and by something I mean some oil. MagnaCut. Oh yeah, that's the stuff that we like to see. Not bad. I've seen a couple different previews of this. It's hard to know sometimes how used the knives are. This is a washer knife, not a bearing knife. And so I was very curious to see, is this something that's like drop shut out of box, or do you need to kind of work it in a little bit? And it feels like it maybe needs to get worked in a little bit because it is a washer knife. Interesting detent on it. And it could just be mine. You know, these things always have some variation, but it feels a little poppy, both on the button and on the bottom end of the detent. And then I'm getting a little, maybe it's me, a little bounce out of the bottom sometimes though. Now it seems to retain fine. Oh, there we go, we got a little one. It seems to retain fine. I think that was just because I was probably holding the button too long. Interesting. So yeah, I'd say one of the differences between this and like some of the CGRBs is like, if I get this here, it's going down. If I get this part way down and then I let go of the button, it's definitely not flying down like the other. You can shake it down, but that's different. I kind of like that it's different. It's kind of nice because a lot of button locks I feel like are almost like a little too loose on their way down. You know, I could even say that a little bit maybe for the shark lock. Granted, I don't find that to be a problem on these, but some people do. Yeah, for me that retains super well. But it's kind of almost a little bit refreshing. The last part of the detent, I don't know if it's just mine, but not super satisfying. Like I like more of a click there at the end. I have some examples. Probably the best in the business would be this guy here, the sham. That last part of the detent where it sucks it in, just so nice. So it is a little less satisfying at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. I expected to like this probably a little more than I do. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be, so in that sense, I like it more. Pretty crazy little grind out there. that's pretty nuts. I imagine that's something to do with how it gets retained by the button at the end. So I guess that's kind of a detent hole. It's a pretty interesting design. It's quite different than what I'm used to. It still technically does lock and unlock as like a plunge, but it's, yeah, so it's similar in some ways, but it's different in others. Pretty funny that you had to put this on the other side too to make room for it. I feel like that's a pretty bad design flaw. You know, there's a lot of button locks out there where they didn't have to do that. So it's very weird to me. But maybe the goal there and the reason it was worth it, and sorry, I forgot I was zoomed in, is because you get later lockup, which I do always get a little sketched out by the seemingly early lockup on some of these button locks. So maybe you get a later lockup because of that or something. I don't know. It was weird to me. So the next question is also, like, can you tune it to a degree? Because it is on washers. I have a little wiggle there, by the way. Let's mess around with it. Looks like a nice little, like, 15 or something. Nice. Love that. T20. Yeah, that was a little loose there. So let's get it really loose just to mess around with it a little bit. Oh, it's interesting. It does not like that. And let's get it nice and all the way in there. But it feels like it might need a little bit of Loctite or something. Okay, now I have good lockup. Now it really won't drop. So I probably went a little too far. Okay, good lockup. Yeah, and it really won't drop now. Oh, there it goes. It's kind of sticking. Oh, there it goes. Maybe that was a user error or something, or just because I just adjusted it. Okay, really no blade play. Nice drop shut. This is an interesting one for me. I really got to think about what this is for me. Because I really like the feel in hand. You get a lot of blade length there. It's not like super efficient though. I feel like the knife is like uselessly a 1/4 inch longer than it needs to be. That's really weird to me that they did that. This could be a much shorter handle. It's for the lanyard hole, I guess. So that's a design flaw to me. That's just poor engineering as far as I'm concerned. Granted, some people just want the extra handle, but I have a pretty good sized hand, and that's just a lot of extra room for nothing in terms of the lanyard hole. Put that lanyard hole maybe even like through the pocket clip or something, I don't know, or let them do it in the back here. You could totally do that off of this back off. So I don't know, I would take that end off, and then this whole knife would just feel a little more balanced and efficient, but it's a little handle heavy because of the design. So I'd want this to be balanced like right here, and the balance point's a little further back because of the handle. Yeah, I'm torn on this one. This one's not quite as good as I was hoping. I mean, I do feel like button lock is something, and you know, part of this could be that these washers need to get broken in. So if you all things considered, this is a washer knife, and you know, with that in mind, could just take some time to like break in the washers. I don't know. Sometimes the reviews are done on knives that are more broken in and stuff. So maybe the way that some people were more excited about this was because they were more broken in. But I can tell you, I get inconsistency on the button kind of popping. I get a little inconsistency on the deployment, just sticking a little. I'm getting some definite lock stick there. So that's, not what you want to see in a knife this expensive. Now, let's talk about the price, because the price is pretty damn reasonable for what it is. USA made, full titanium handles, a good locking technology. It's not just another liner lock or frame lock. You got jimping up here. You got MagnaCut blade steel. So for $425, I think it was. I don't know if it says that on here or not, but I'm pretty sure I got this for $425 shipped from USA made blade. Damn, that's a pretty damn impressive knife, right? However, this knife to me is 90% of it, maybe 85 to 90% is good. And it's $57. So yes, it's made in China, but usually you see a factor of about 3. So you want your knife to be about 3 times more expensive in the US than if it's made in China for like to like. This feels like it's this knife to this knife. Maybe it's just because these are so cheap and that should be $100 to $200 knife, but titanium versus steel also. So that is certainly a factor there. That is a steel handle, that is a titanium handle. So with that in mind, call this $100 because that is about what that costs with the titanium handle, is like $125. Now you're getting into that sort of 3 ratio. So yeah, plus this has MagnaCut, so that's, certainly a better blade steel, but yeah, I mean, the results speak for themselves. The action's not as good on this as on that. It's not bad, but it's not great. I'd personally run it on bearings. I think that would probably make the difference. I get why they didn't also, because this is pretty damn good for washers. When you can, if you can get the same kind of action out of washers, I think it's favorable, right? You'd want to do it. It's lower maintenance. It's, less rust, more rust resistant. A lot of reasons to want to be on washers if you can. And overall, maybe I'm pressing the button too hard. I think I'm pushing the button too hard. That might be what's catching it. But that shouldn't happen either. If you push the button all the way, it should still just drop. But it almost feels like there's maybe a sweet spot on the button based on what you just saw there. Like that's more drop shutty than that. That's weird. I've not seen that before. I want to say maybe this one even has maybe an issue or something. I'm kind of surprised this made it out the door on the quality control, if so, because the button's poppy. If you push the button too hard, it doesn't drop as easily. So that could be what it is. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not a professional here, folks. I'm just a guy buying some knives and letting my stream of consciousness come out of my mouth. So, yeah, good, but not go drop everything and see if you can get one on the secondary kind of good. There are a lot of knives I prefer more than that. It's also not light. It's a big knife, so you got to want a big knife if you get this. Almost 5.5 ounces. So definitely, up there with other full-size knives in terms of the weight. A lot of you will like that, of course. And yeah, I just not sure 100% what to think of this one. I want to like it, I do, but maybe I need to spend some time with it, breaking it in or something, getting that button smooth, and maybe over time it'll grow on me more. To be determined what I end up doing with it. But it feels like it should be a little smoother than this, a little easier to work with. So that's all for now. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.